It's Music Therapy Laz here. I'm doing a VEDA for tomorrow, so I'm trying to get ahead. So it's Monday evening. Had a nice post-Easter Monday, and I wanted to show you guys what my thoughts were about this pedal board I'm doing. So I got it in the backyard here because so I'm going to be chopping up some bracole. I'm going to be chopping some wood here. And here's my thought, you guys. So you guys all know that I have, okay, if I lift this off, it's probably, well, that wood's going to go flying off, right? Darn. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's going to fly off. All right, so I didn't cut anything yet because I'm laying it out. I want to get an idea of how this is all going to lay out. So my thoughts were, if you didn't see some of my previous videos where I talk about this, I want to turn this into a okay, I'll just move this one aside. I want to turn this into a double-decker pedal board. So like this. So I got this on the tripod here. Just want to show you from this angle, right? I want to be able to go like this, right? Put this back here now. So the reason is, like a lot of those really fancy boards, like the gig rig guys make, like the Schmidt Array board and whatnot, I want to do a board where I can have some pedals underneath, because this thing has, you know, quite a bit of space under it. And yeah, you can just mount just a power supply here and just run your power cables and run them underneath or whatever. But it doesn't come with any kind of bottom, so you'd have to cable tie all those lines, power lines, to this, as well as, you know, have your pedals down on it. And while I was thinking about setting this thing up where I can actually hinge it, you know, I checked out how it would fit in the bag, and it looks to me like this height right here with this, I got a 3/4 inch piece of ply that's over, it's laminated with walnut, so it'll look really nice stained up, and then I'll probably use some wood banding around the edges in walnut so it looks good. So there's this like banding you can buy that's 3/4 wide in a variety of different woods that have like a glue on the backing, and then you just use an iron and heat melt it kind of up against the edge right here, right? So and then you can stain it all and shoot it with some clear. You can do that all out of rattle cans, and the stain you can buy like water-based or oil-based stain. I prefer the water-based stains. They dry faster. You can blow dry them to dry faster, and then spray finish with a couple clear coats of even a water base and dry that faster and be done, you know, within hours, versus if you use an oil stain type oil-based stain or alkyd-based stain, you'll be waiting in between coats quite a bit of time, right? So a quicker way. But the other thought I had was I don't necessarily need to have it at such an angle, right? So if I take it off here, you know, this would be the typical angle it would be sitting at, like that, right? And it's got a nice little angle. I don't necessarily need to have that much of an angle, so I'm going to put a 1-inch piece. Well, this is actually 3/4, so 1 by 1, 3/4 inch piece of it's basically poplar, or is that pine? It might be pine. Pine or poplar is fine. And I'm gonna, you know, tack nail that from this side down into the 3/4 inch ply. But on the front edge here, or near the front edge, I'm thinking about, instead of that 3/4, I'm going to use a 1 by, so that's another 3/4 inches wide, right? So 1 by 2, so 1.5 inches, a 1 by 2. Don't ask me why. Why don't they have 1 by 1, 1 by 2? Why isn't it like an actual inch if it's 1 by, right? But anyway, it's 3/4, and the 2 is a 1/2 inch, so if that makes sense. So I have this other piece of wood here, you know, this is going to go here, and then I was going to, you know, box it all the way around the front. However, then I had another thought. If I have pedals underneath here, maybe I can put some pedals underneath here that have the button sticking out right under the front lip here, like this. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it around. And it turns out that, say, like one of these, like this, this is the Ditto Looper, right? I'm probably not gonna mess with the settings of this much. I'll probably have the knob level, the loop level set at a constant volume, right? So why would I ever change that? So that could be up underneath here, just so that the pedal here sticks out enough to where I can touch it, right? So I can make this board a little bit longer, but I got to see how that's going to fit in the bag because it may not fit well in the bag this way. So if it doesn't, I might exnate this idea, but I might not have to have it stick out all the way. I just might need it just enough so I can get my toe on it, right? And that would be enough to be able to activate it. Same thing with the pedal, like the freak out pedal here. I don't know if you guys can see in this light. I'm in the backyard with the light on over there. Same with the freak out pedal here. I need to redo these by the way, because I did them wrong. I did them in the center instead of side around the corner, so I got to redo those. But let me stand this down here. So same with this one. I may not necessarily need to ever hit those, but it depends on how this fits. So no, this one won't work. So these knobs are too close to here. But on this one, it seems to be, oops, enough of a distance apart here where it works, right? Put this back. So I'm just kind of sizing things up right now. I haven't cut any of the wood yet. I haven't set anything up yet because I don't want to start cutting things until I really know how it's going to all lay out. And it doesn't hurt to kind of lay things out like this. So yeah, so looks like you need at least that 1.5 inches. It's about roughly the same width as this, right? 1.5 inches. Right? Oop, there we go. 1.5 inches between the button and a knob if I want it to work up underneath here without it hitting the knob, right? And to be able to pull that forward enough to where I can step on it. So it looks like the Vericomp, another pedal, it's a compressor. This is another one of those you can leave always on type pedals. So this one might end up just being under here somewhere like that, right? And I can have that always on. Or I can just turn it, go like that, and you know, if I'm not wanting to use it for a particular tune or whatever. But you know, this isn't like I'm going to be touring the world or anything kind of rig. But the bottom line is that, you know, even the freak out I definitely want on top then, because I want this where I can, you know, hit that, activate that whenever I want, right, to get that. And I usually would probably keep it on this corner here because I'd want it, you know, I don't like standing in front of my board to where I'm tripping over the thing. So even though a lot of people will put their, they'll put their wah pedal on the right side here, I almost would prefer it on this side because, you know, unless I'm really tippy-tapping a lot in front of my pedal board, I probably, well, maybe I would want it here, you know, the wah pedal like this at an angle, you know, like out of the way over here. And a volume pedal, maybe the same thing. But you got too much stuff in front of your feet in one sideways direction. You're doing too much sidestepping. So maybe, you know, kind of circular pattern or kind of curved pattern around you, or at least in one direction so you can step to the side if you have to do some background singing. You can have a vocal mic on this side and sing there. But you know, the freak out's one of those pedals that you want to hit that frequency thing, and I guess it would be fine anywhere on the pedal board depending on how you get used to it. But one thing I probably would assume is that you probably want to have it always in that same kind of position just so you remember where it's at, right? Another pedal that I'm definitely looking to probably put underneath here is the Wiretap. Another pedal that is great for, you know, recording a riff idea that you have. So let's say you're jamming with friends and you come up with a great riff idea, right? Well, there you go. You hit that Wiretap and you can actually do a loop and even record, you know, the loop with whatever you're doing into the Wiretap, and then this will download right into your DAW, which is great, you know, if you want to save like a great riff idea you have without worrying about losing it by, you know, sometimes you might accidentally loop over it or something if you played a cool thing and you saved it in your looper. Unless you downloaded that somehow, you're going to lose it, right? So you can save your cool riff ideas with the Wiretap. Oh, I got to go shake like a monkey over here. Anyway, so that's kind of the idea of the pedal board. And then, of course, you know, underneath you can have, you know, a variety of other things going through your chain that you don't need on top, taking up space. Like this buzz breaker that I got. Also got this along with the HX Stomp. Awesome device that I got through the Eric Broadbent thing. So I've seen like Dan and Mick of that pedal show. Mick has a pedal board that is probably a little deeper, right? It goes deeper. It's one of them Schmidt arrays, so I'd say it's about like this size. It's deeper. It's not as wide as this. This one, instead of being deeper, it's wider. So it's a similar size, I would think, overall. My power brick will fit perfectly right underneath here. I'm going to put it further to the right side here, probably. You know, they're often meant or set up to be in the center so that you can get your cabling to it easier. But it might be better to put it to one side. That way I can keep it underneath pedals that aren't as sensitive to power, right? So some pedals are going to be more sensitive to power brick, and some will be less sensitive. In other words, noisy or not, right? So, man, is that my tummy? If I've been gaining weight during this COVID thing. Anyway, so here's another pedal that I thought another, you know, here's another compressor, right? But it looks like there's not enough space here unless no, doesn't look like it. Unless I decided to go really nuts and chop away at the bottom edge of this. I'd have to chop away it. I'd have to cut away at the bottom edge of this. God, I can't seem to get a good. Yeah, so I'd have to cut away at the bottom edge of this which I could do, you know, but it would be a pain, and I wouldn't want to necessarily, but I could. I don't necessarily need to have this wide of a chunk of metal here. On the back, it's fine because I'm gonna do, you know, a hinge that's gonna hinge to the back of this thing, or maybe to the bottom here, onto this other piece of wood here and this plywood. You know, so it should be pretty robust and be able to hold up to what I want it to do. Yeah. So that's kind of the idea here. But yeah, if I wanted some of these other pedals to fit underneath here, I would want to probably chop away at that bracale a little bit. But, you know, there's several pedals that I have that could fit under here where I can get the pedal knob, the button that you step on, right? This button, you know, just sticking out enough to where I can just hit it, you know? Like I can just get my toe on it and hit it. So I wouldn't have to have the whole pedal out. So I might be able to do a whole row underneath here. And I was even thinking about, for example, Boss pedals would work like that fine too, if there were a particular Boss pedal, because you only need the lip, you know, sticking out, right? So anything that doesn't have the button so far in, like this MXR Comp Deluxe, or like this, you know, any other ones that have the knobs real close to the stomp button, the stomp, whatever you call that. What do you call that thing? The stomp switch. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you know, I guess it is a switch, right? It's a switch. This has a soft switch, so it's got a switch. So yeah, these are too close. This is too close, unless I cut away at that metal there. So that's basically it. And then of course I would put a piece of wood, you know, but probably a thinner piece of wood up front here, and I guess I could have it set up so that it latches and locks into place. I probably wouldn't even need to lock it into place except for when I'm flying with it or if I'm traveling with it. So then the bag will hold it together, really. So the only thing I'd really have to worry about is just having it hinge open and closed, right? So, Music Therapy Laz here, doing VEDA number 14 on day 13. Getting ahead of this game a little bit. you know, I'm going to take the pedals back inside and this pedal board back inside, but tomorrow I will be chopping this thing up. I'm going to draw this. I like to draw things out and then write it down so I have it, you know, written down as well. But yeah, this ought to work great, man. This ought to work great. And then, of course, you know, let me show you how this would work over here. And then, you know, this right now the rubber feet are still on there, but, you know, it's going to kind of go like that. So there's still going to be open air here, so, you know, not that pedals get hot or anything, but it'll be open enough so that, you know, if you need to run some wires in or out, it won't be too difficult to do that. So that's my pedal board modification for this this piece of wood so it doesn't fall down and go ping pong pong, for this gator pedal board that I got, that came with a really great bag. That's the idea. That's what I'm doing. my mad scientist is unleashed. Yeah, I know. I get lost in the minutia, the whole rabbit hole problem with this stuff. But you know, it's fun, and I got time, right? I got time right now to do this. And then I got my skull saw over there set up. So not only am I going to do this, but I'm also going to build those Soundtrap Designs guitar hangers for myself, as well as Johnny Bean and JJ House of Jams, and I think I might even make one for Sean Pierce Johnson. I gotta send him some pictures of some naga hides and stuff that he might want to use, or it could be velvet too. So until next time, you guys, Music Therapy Laz saying enjoy this off time from work and make something of your time and use it wisely, or I don't know if this is wisely or not, but make the best of it. Make the best of your time. Enjoy it. Rock on. You can hear Roxy in the background screaming in there. She's cheeping away because she's like, where's my Laszlo? And we'll see you next time around, hopefully Thursday on my live stream at 4 o'clock with Roxy. That's their Music Therapy Thursdays, right? 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss it. And don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that notification bell so you know when there's another video coming up. Share the channel.